Dad died last night, so don't bother coming to the funeral, and by the way, you get nothing. That was literally how my sister, Chloe, greeted me at 7 in the morning on a random Tuesday. No, I'm sorry to break the news, no tears, just pure, cold venom dripping through the phone speaker. She didn't even give me a second to process that our father was gone before she slammed the phone down in my face. Look, if there is one thing that brings out the absolute worst in greedy relatives, it's a death in the family. Chloe thought she had pulled off the ultimate power move. She assumed that keeping me away from the funeral would let her clean out Dad's estate, sell his property, and pocket every single dime before I even knew what hit me. She had no idea that Dad had visited his attorney 3 weeks before he passed away, specifically because he knew what Chloe was capable of. Okay, so, let me back up for a second, because to understand why my sister hated me this much, you have to know how our family was structured. If you're new here, subscribe, I post a new story every day. For the past 10 years, I was the sibling who stepped up. When Dad was diagnosed with COPD and his mobility started declining, Chloe conveniently became too busy with her social life and her boutique business. I was the one driving 2 hours every weekend, handling his doctor visits, making sure his groceries were stocked, and keeping him company. Chloe only ever showed up when she needed money. She'd drop in, put on this sweet, dutiful daughter routine for 20 minutes, ask for a loan for her business or her vacation, and then disappear for 4 months. And Dad wasn't stupid. He loved her because she was his daughter, but he saw right through the manipulation. When Chloe called me that morning at 7 a.m., screaming that Dad was dead and that I was cut out of everything, I sat on the edge of my bed in complete shock. I was grieving my father, and my own sister was already treating his death like a payday. I called his doctor to confirm it, and sure enough, Dad had passed away quietly in his sleep at the care facility the night before. Chloe had instructed the facility staff not to contact me, claiming she was the sole point of contact. Now here's where I'd have lost it. She literally tried to lock me out of my own father's memorial. I showed up at the funeral chapel anyway 2 days later. When I walked in, Chloe was standing near the front in a designer black dress, holding court with a few distant relatives, practically beaming. The moment she saw me, her face twisted. She marched over to the entryway, blocked my path, and hissed, "I told you not to come. You're making a scene, and you're not getting a cent of Dad's house or his accounts." I didn't yell. I didn't cause a scene. I just looked her dead in the eye and said, "I'm here to say goodbye to Dad, Chloe. Not to fight with you over money." She smirked, crossed her arms, and whispered, "Well, enjoy it, because by Monday, the house is being listed, and Dad left everything to me." Would you have been able to keep your composure if your sibling acted like that at a funeral? Let me know in the comments below. On Monday morning, Chloe called a formal family meeting at Dad's house, inviting our aunt, our uncle, and a local probate attorney she had hired. She wanted the audience. She wanted everyone to watch me get handed nothing. I walked into Dad's living room, sat quietly in the armchair, while Chloe sat at the dining table with a thick folder, smug as ever. She looked at our aunt and said, "Dad told me explicitly before he got sick that he wanted me to have the house and his savings because I have a business to support." Her attorney opened his brief, cleared his throat, and said, "We are here to read the last will and testament provided by my client, Ms. Chloe." Before he could finish, the front door opened, and a gentleman in a dark suit walked in. It was Mr. Miller, Dad's personal estate lawyer of 20 years. Chloe immediately stood up, annoyed. "What is he doing here? I hired my own attorney to settle this." Mr. Miller didn't even look flustered. He set his briefcase on the coffee table, opened it up, and pulled out a notarized document with an official state seal. "I am here, Mr. Miller said calmly, because the document your attorney is holding is a draft from 6 years ago that was officially revoked." Wait, read that part again in your head, because the look on Chloe's face was absolute gold. Her jaw literally dropped. "What are you talking about? Dad didn't change his will." Mr. Miller looked over his reading glasses at Chloe. 3 weeks ago, your father called my office. He drove to my firm, fully sound of mind, and executed a new, binding estate plan. Chloe's attorney perked up, suddenly looking very nervous. And what does the updated filing stipulate? I'll be honest, I didn't expect what came next either. Mr. Miller read the updated will out loud to the room. Dad had left the entire house, his primary bank accounts, and his personal belongings directly to me. Every single bit of it. And as for Chloe, Dad had added a specific, legally binding clause just for her. Mr. Miller read Dad's exact words from the document. To my daughter, Chloe, who informed me last month that she was too busy to visit but requested an advance on her inheritance, I leave the sum of $100, along with the receipts of the $45,000 in loans I gave her over the past 7 years, which are hereby forgiven in full as her final payout. Asterisk. Is there anything more satisfying than an arrogant person realizing their own greed completely ruined them? Let me know below. The entire room went dead silent. Our aunt covered her mouth to hide a gasp. Chloe stood there, staring at Mr. Miller, her face turning bright red, then ghostly white. This is a fake, she screamed, slamming her hands on the table. He forged this. He manipulated Dad. I'm contesting this. Mr. Miller just quietly closed his briefcase. You are welcome to contest it, Chloe. But your father recorded a 3-minute video deposition with 2 independent doctors present, explaining explicitly why he was making this decision. The court will dismiss your challenge in 5 minutes. Her hired attorney took one look at Mr. Miller's paperwork, closed his own folder, looked at Chloe, and said, "My retainer is exhausted. Do not call my office." He literally packed his bag and walked right out the front door, leaving Chloe standing there completely exposed. She turned to me, eyes wild, and started crying, not out of grief, but out of pure, unadulterated rage. "You stole my life," she shrieked. "How am I supposed to pay off my business debt now?" I stood up, picked up my jacket, and looked at her. "You didn't care that Dad died, Chloe. You only cared about what he could give you. He gave you $45,000 while he was alive, and you couldn't even bother to visit him during his last month. I gave her 72 hours to clear her personal items out of Dad's house before I changed the locks. She tried reaching out to our relatives to turn them against me, but once Mr. Miller shared the video deposition details with the family, nobody took her side. She was left with her $100 check, her forgiven loans, and the exact emptiness she tried to force onto me. Looking back, it's crazy how people think they can treat family like stepping stones and never face the consequences. Greed makes people sloppy, but more than that, it makes them blind to the fact that actions always catch up with you in the end. What do you think about how Dad handled his will? Did Chloe get what she deserved, or was it too harsh? Drop your thoughts and verdict in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I post a brand new narrative every single day. See you tomorrow.